Hello there and welcome
to the new channel.
Here to help you see
the new you.
My name is Carmine Ortega.
Dennis Calamba.
This is Nato Agbayani.
My name is Juan Lu.
I'm Chino.
I'm Trisha.
This is Apple Manansala.
This is Attorney Carlo Ibanez.
This is Attorney Sheila Santiago.
This is Angie.
This is Orgamit.
My name is Dante Salama.
This is Jesse Francis Rebastillo.
I'm Dani Acuña.
Mon Mendoza.
I am Mapet Erhina.
I'm Leo Bryan.
Mike.
Nice one, dear.
Sir Al Ian Barcelona.
Marvin Salazar.
This is Sunny Haldons.
Heidi Lumainos.
This is Ivan Jude.
Patrick Hieronimo.
Alan Perez.
My name is Erwin Ursua.
My name is Bob.
My name is Lloyd Luna and this is
Future.
The Talk.
Family Business.
The Puppet Stories.
After Shift.
PNC Town Hall.
YOLO.
Marketplace.
The Home Buyer.
HR Hotline.
Danny Art Show.
Healthline.
Foreign Affairs.
COVID Stories.
Awesome Day Show.
Thank you.
Money and more.
Cybernext.
Women at Work.
Win Within.
Port Project.
The Big Picture.
Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just wanna mourn and run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes that makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the new channel. We're here to help you see the new you. My name is Michelle Mras, and welcome to Mental Shift. Well, good evening to the United States and to the Philippines. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Tonight's episode's number 16. My guest tonight is a professional coach, trainer, a public speaker, TV producer, and host of 2 live streaming TV shows on E16 TV and a radio show. The 2 shows are Everyday People and Inspiration of Hope. And that is where I met our next ghost. But he is a former business executive with a wide range of knowledge and experience as a business owner, specializing in sales and manufacturing. And during his business career, he even served as in the Army Reserves with the U.S. Army and the Arizona National Guard. And it was a total of 31 years. But he is the co-founder of both the S.C.A.L.E Pathway and the 6-Minute Webinar. So please welcome my friend, Jim Grant.
Thank you so very much for that warm introduction. I really enjoyed the introduction to the channel. It was really neat. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, wow, I could watch this for the next hour. They wouldn't even miss me.
I'm always dancing. It's like, I have to remember, stop dancing. Yes. Isn't it beautiful? They do a good job.
It really is. It really is. I really enjoyed it. It was very well done. Very well done. It's entertaining.
It is very entertaining. It's almost like you can get rid of the host and the guest and just keep playing any videos and all. But it's exciting to be part of TNC because it live streams, but there's so many shows on TNC, and they reach this gambit of every topic you can possibly think of. Just like the E16 TV, you have so many different channels that they can watch. So this is also like internet TV.
Yes.
It's a cool new wave.
Oh, yeah. Streaming TV is just this is the new media. It really is. I was kind of surprised that NBC did not start Peacock TV till the middle of last year. They were really slow on getting into the streaming TV because this is the new front when it comes to television and media in general.
Yeah. And I remember when you first told me, I was on one of your radio shows, right?
Right.
And you said, well, we're going to be going on this internet TV. And I'm like, what's that? And here we are.
Well, I felt the same way because when we first got started, it was during the pandemic. And all we had back in those days, a little over about a year ago, really, when we started, all we had was Zoom and Facebook Live. And we just decided we were going to put on some messages of inspiration and hope for the people during the pandemic because we wanted to give back. And that's where you and I originally met. And it just kept going and going and going. And then we got introduced to E16 TV. We got invited to join them. And this is a streaming TV channel. And I'm going like, okay, what's that? I was, internet TV. I didn't know anything about it, even though I'd been, on the radio and all that for many years. And we started a radio program in April the 5th of 2019. We've just surpassed 6 million downloads of our radio show. And people ask me, and this is kind of like a nicety to know, people ask me, how did I do it?
Yeah.
And it's real simple. You're just going to, help the guest be a star because people are going to tune in. They know you're going to be there, but they're tuning in to hear the guest, the good infotainment, as I call it. And I got to tell you something about Michelle. We got our TV show going and all that. We started that on 30 November of last year. And one day the guy that was going to be on my show, he was sick. So I called up Michelle and I says, Michelle, I got a problem. She says, what's that? I says, I need a guest because I don't think people want to see me, play the tambourine and sing for an hour or whatever. And she told me, she says, I'll be on your show under one condition. And I'm going like, okay, name it. And she says, you've got to be on my TV show. And I thought, wow, that's the kind of people you want to be associated with because if you're out there and no matter what you're doing, if you're an author, if you're an internet business person, if you got an online business, you need to search out people that have the same kind of heart that you do. People that want to help you, and in return, you need to help them. And the key that makes that whole thing work is simply this: you make sure you deposit more into them than you're willing to withdraw from them. And I wasn't smart enough to think that up. There was someone that said that on my show, and I thought, wow, I like that. Can I use that? And they said, sure, go ahead. So I use it every time I can.
Well, then you have people like us who just keep trying to give more and more and more. It's like, wait a minute. Keep giving more and more. Well, Jim, you are just such an amazing connector. I mean, I've met so many people from being on your show the first time. I've been connected to so many other people through you. They're like, oh yeah, Jim told me I should talk to you. Oh yeah, Jim told me I should talk to you. Like, how many people has Jim told you to come talk to me? I mean, so I've met a lot of people in your world because they've come to me because of you. And so that is why I became so comfortable. Well, I got comfortable with you the first time I talked to you, but I've learned so much more about you from the people that are coming to me. It's that birds of a feather flock together, and they're just all just extremely amazing humans who want to give more and do more for the world. And I mean, like, you joined your E16 during the COVID so you could reach more people. We did the same thing with TNC. It started during COVID in order to reach people who needed to be uplifted.
Yes. Because a lot of people during those days, ladies and gentlemen, they were very dark days, and people were worried and people were scared and all that. We had people that was basically, living in solitary confinement in their own homes. And my daughter was telling me she still knows a couple that they're scared to go anywhere. And it's really bad when you live your life in fear, because then you enslave yourself. And with the messages of inspiration and hope, what really happened was that all the people that came on, the speakers, by them, being generous and telling their story and sharing inspiration, they were doubly blessed too. Because we were all in the same boat. We didn't know what was going on. We just knew one thing: goodness, that COVID-19, that's bad news. I mean, no one wants it, because we were all, let's be honest, we were at least deeply concerned, if not borderline scared, because all the horrible things we heard about it,
Well, I want to go back and ask a few things, because I know you served in the Army and you had the business career for 31 years. And you've shared stories from the Army with me. But before we go there, I want to know, what is S.C.A.L.E pathway and what is 6-minute webinar, so that our viewers can.
Okay.
Because that's the deal.
Well, my buddy, Don McGrath. Don McGrath and I originally, we met and we created the Speakers Pathway, because we're professional speakers and we saw a lot of problems out there and people not helping someone get from where they are to where they want to be. And Don and I says, hey, we've got all this experience. I was an instructor for 12 years. I've been speaking on stage since 2000. I retired from the military in 2004. We got buku experience. I mean, why don't we just help people? They need a speaker kit, they need this, they need that. But what we actually attracted that surprised us, we attracted a lot of ladies that were 35 years of age and older that had been in business for about 2 years, and they hadn't had much success at all. So we had to come together and put together training programs, and that migrated, and we changed it from Speakers Pathway to S.C.A.L.E Pathway, because the first thing that we want to know when someone comes to S.C.A.L.E Pathway, what is it that you want to do? What is the one product that you're in control of right now that you can market? And we help them brand it. We help them put everything together. And that's what S.C.A.L.E Pathway is mainly about. Then the 6-minute webinar.
What does S.C.A.L.E stand for?
I knew you was going to ask me that. Don comes up with all these fancy names, and
I'm like speakers, coaches. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that, because I was thinking about, because Don comes up with all these acronyms and stuff, and Don runs S.C.A.L.E Pathway, Bill runs 6-minute webinar, and I do the TV shows and the radio show.
Okay, then what's the 6-minute webinar about?
Okay, the 6-minute webinar is one of the neatest things, and it actually came out of COVID-19, and it got its original roots through one of my goof ups.
Oh.
Yeah. So, like, I'm going to share this with you. When things go bad, take a deep breath and relax. We were going to put on an event in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I rented this place, and I was talking to my point of contact out there. And, he was always, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, sure, no problem. we get there and we're expecting, a nice little crowd. We wanted about 50 people to work with. We wanted to work with some people hands-on, give them some good training. We had 12 people show up. Don looks at me and I says, I got no idea. I got no answer. But what we did, we started bringing everyone up on stage.
Oh, good.
How to come up on stage, how to step into the light of the power. You step back. I mean, when the speaker steps back or the person introduced you steps back, you step into their light. And we did all of that. And then Don says, let's just give them a 6-minute talks up here. Because we had some people who never been on stage before. And it was a safe zone. And everybody loved it. And one of the ladies there, Stephanie Dwayne, she kept asking me and Don, when are we going to put on some more of the 6-minute webinar?
Okay.
Or the 6-minute talks. She says, I call that my personal ATM machine. And we're busy. I'm running, the 6 live shows a week. As you can imagine, that's quite heavy duty with 9 guests. And out of the pandemic, what we realized is that a lot of people, when they came on and spoke, they had a shotgun effect. Mm-hmm. They just, talk about this, talk about that. And, they really weren't focused. And my point being is that Don gave a class and Bill says, hey, you remember those 6-minute talks we did in Phoenix? He said, yeah. What if we turn that into like a mini webinar to help people get clarity, help people sell their product? And the first sentence of a 6-minute webinar will reach out to your ideal client, because good marketing does 2 things. Number 1, it will repel everyone that you cannot help. Number 2, it will attract the people that you can help. And I like to use losing weight as an example because, a lot of people are familiar with that. And the first sentence would be like, during this 6-minute webinar, I will show you 3 proven ways that you can lose weight. That's all you got to say. People that want to lose weight, they're going to stay for 6 minutes and see what you got to say. People that's not, they're out of there.
Yeah.
And it's got a total of about 600 words because everybody likes to overtalk.
Yes.
They want to tell.
Well,
and go ahead. I'm sorry.
My question for you then is, for the S.C.A.L.E pathway and the 6-minute webinar, they're both online now. Where can people find that?
Okay, just go to S.C.A.L.E, S.C.A.L.E pathway.com. And 6-minute webinar is 6-minute webinar, SIX-minutewebinar.com. And they're both great. In fact, we got a workshop coming up this Saturday, and it's going to run from 9 in the morning Pacific to 12 noon Eastern time, 3 hours. And everyone that's going to attend there will actually get their own 6-minute webinar. They will leave there with a product in their hands that they can actually use. It is one of the neatest things you've ever seen. I was telling Michelle, we had a gentleman on there that he's in the top 20 of Amazon sellers. And when he saw that 6-minute webinar, he goes like, oh my goodness, this thing's a gold mine. And this guy is he's in the top 20 of Amazon sellers.
That's incredible.
Oh yeah. I mean, we did not expect that. But that's how good it is, because it's very clear, it's very precise. And the main thing that people miss, and they're really important, you got to be very clear. You got to have clarity in your mind. What is it that you want to share with the folks? How can you lead them from where they are to where they want to be? Because it's all about them.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
So my question for you, for the listeners, if they wanted to join the S.C.A.L.E pathway, the 6-minute webinar, they go to those websites. But if is there an option for them to just listen and see what happens? Or they're going to have to do something?
They can go to the 6-minute webinar and they can play a video there. And Dawn is redoing the S.C.A.L.E pathway right now. In fact, we're going to be upgrading all 3 sites, including the TV show and all that. We're working on that right now. But yeah, you can go to the 6minutewebinar.com and you can actually watch a video there, and it will explain. You'll hear Bill Heinrich's voice. He'll explain how the 6-minute webinar works. And you'll go, oh my goodness, I got to know more about this. Awesome. And Don came up with Script-Pal. That was the neatest invention I've ever seen because he's an operations guy. He's a former engineer. And I tell you right now, you just go there and you go into Script-Pal, you type in your answers to a specific question. And after about 40 questions, there's 12 different sections that you got to fill out. You hit submit, and it gets delivered right to your inbox in your email. And you've got your 6-minute webinar.
Cool.
And then all you got to do is just read it and record it and, use your slides or whatever and game over. And you can, it just does all the selling for you because the people, once they see that and they respond to that, those are the people that want to talk to you. That's really nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for you.
Well, that sounds amazing. I hope all of you listening out there, one, are sharing this live stream, and two, go to scalepathway.com or 6minutewebinar.com and check it out. And then the other thing I want to ask about is we've been talking about Bill and Don and everything else. We haven't gotten to Jim yet. You see, this is how Jim works. Jim will prop up everyone else and avoid talking about himself. And the thing about Jim, and that's why I wanted him on the show, is he is so fascinating. He's got such an amazing background. He's got this huge musical thing that goes on with him. Matter of fact, he started a Facebook page of just music, right? Didn't you? And so I want to talk a little bit more about how Everyday People came about and Inspiration of Hope came about, because that's what you do. And you reach out to people and you bring people into the world and share them to the world. But I'm thinking, before we go there, I want to go to our first break break. And then when we come back, we'll start talking about Everyday People and Inspiration of Hope, because that's how I met you. That's how I know where your power is. And this way I can get you to talk more about yourself rather than other people. So stand by. We will come right back right after the commercial, and we'll learn more about what Mr. Jim Grant does. Stand by. Welcome back. My name is Michelle Mras, and this is Mental Shift. And what we'll be talking about tonight, well, we talk about people who've had one life and then they had some sort of a mental shift in their lives, and then they started to do something else. Now, tonight, my guest is Jim Grant, and he does a plethora of things, but what I want to ask him more about is he has 2 live streaming internet TV shows on E16 TV. One's called Everyday People and the other one's called Inspiration of Hope. And I met Jim and fell in love with him. He's just this great Texan, I guess. Are you a Texan, Jim? Come back on.
Originally, I was born and raised in North Carolina. I've lived in Texas since 1990.
So you're a Texan.
Yeah. I'm a migrant Texan.
When I imagine cowboys out on the field playing a guitar and singing, you're what I see.
Oh my goodness!
I expect that you'd be in a Western, with that kind of thing, because it's just you've got this easygoing feel about you, and you're just so sweet, kind, and you're funny as all get out. And I've heard stories about fast cars and crazy.
Oh yeah.
When you were younger.
Oh yeah. I tell people that was back when I was young and good looking, and they'll look at me. I says, I was young once. I'm not making this up.
I love it. Well, I remember when I met you, we got on the phone and we just started chatting away because I know my story touched you quite a bit when we were on your show. But what I want to know before we go, if we get to go deeper in you, because my thought with your shows, Everyday People and Inspiration of Hope, it stems a lot from what you believe in and where you came from, because you were in the business world. You were in the Army for 31 years. I mean, how did you go from there to this? And then now you've got all these internet shows and radio shows and inspiration for other people, and you highlight other people. And where did you come from that got you to want to do this so badly? And then somewhere in there, you've got a lot of music in there. So fill us in, Jim. Fill us in.
One of the things that really inspired me to do what I'm doing now, it all started when I got the retirement papers on April the 15th, 2004. I was now officially retired from the U.S. Army. And it really hit me. Wow. I remember telling myself, wow, this getting old is a new experience for me because I've been young all my life. But what really hit me was that I lost my military family. They were very important to me. That's why I stayed in all those years, because they were just super nice people. And, I started doing some work on the internet and things of this nature because I had sold my manufacturing business. And, I just ran into one problem after another. I didn't have any help. I didn't have any direction. I didn't even know how to spell computer. Okay. That's about how bad it was. But I wanted, back in my mind, I wanted to find another family, someone I could connect with. And that was my driving force. And it was something that I just kept looking for, but it just didn't seem to come. And I realize now that really what happened was that I was being put on hold and in reserve for a much higher calling. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that then. I just felt kind of like, what am I doing wrong? I'm trying to do everything right. I'm doing what everybody else is doing. And, they're successful and I'm over here and I look like, I don't even know what I'm doing, which was true. I didn't. But that was what started everything. And then I met Don McGrath and our paths crossed, and we kept complaining about some of the things we saw. So we created our own company. And one of the first people we invited in was Bill Heinrich. And I got to tell you a funny story about that.
Three Musketeers. Okay.
Yeah. Because Don and I are sitting at his home in Colorado Springs. And we're drawing up everything. We had a list of people we wanted to bring on board as our executive training directors because we knew we were going to need some specialized experience in areas that we didn't have. And we had Bill Heinrich's name on there. And Bill Heinrich is a high-level business coach. He talks a lot about clarity, and he's a tremendous asset for us. And in fact, me and him and Don, we own the 6-minute webinar. And Don says, do you think we should call Bill? And I says, well, let's call him. All they can do is either laugh at us or say no, thank us or whatever. And he said, well, you know him better than I do. You call him. Okay. So I get on the phone, I got voluntold to call him. So that's what happened. So I called him and I told him what we were doing. And immediately he said yes. And we're looking at each other because we got him on speakerphone. He said yes to us. We thought we were just, We thought he was up here and we're way down there. But it's amazing. You always ask the question. Always have the courage to ask the question because you'll never know who will say yes. Mm-hmm. And that's how it all began. And when you talk about the Message of Inspiration, Hope, and Support show, the original webinar series we had, the way that came about, we met with the executive training directors, and Bill Heinrich was the one that says, hey, let's address this pandemic right now. We got members that's worried. A lot of people are worried. We need to put on some webinars, and we'll just call it Message of Inspiration, Hope, and Support. And immediately Dr. Sony Jackson says, well, I'll do this. Everybody bought into it. And Tamara Hunter says, I can do that. Preston Martelli says, I can do this. And Don says, I can do this. And Don says, Jim. I said, yes. He says, you're going to be the host. And I says, okay, I can do that. And that's how that all began. And then as we went through a series, as I said earlier, we got invited to join the E360 TV network. And so here I got 5 days and I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do with these 5 days, Monday through Friday?
A lot of work.
And then I remembered Tamara Blankenship and we wanted to put together a specific program about 1.5 years before, but we never could get the energy behind it. And we couldn't understand why, because it was a worthy project. But little did we know, here again, we're being put on reserve, being held back for a bigger cause.
And you found family. Wow.
Yeah, and I called her up and I says, hey, would you like to join me on a Friday show? We'll call it Everyday People. And we're going to bring on people from all walks of life who give back to their community, because it's all about giving back. Because once you start giving and you come from the heart, game over. Doors will open for you. Barriers will fall down. But if you live in a world of fear, or if you're thinking about how can I do this, and you're thinking physically, you're pushing a chain uphill.
Yeah.
Get out of that immediately. That's the best advice I can give you. So that's actually how it came about.
Well, that's wonderful, because your mental shift was, I left the Army and I wanted another family, one I could rely on and trust on. And you've built it around the world, because you've met people all over the place, including me. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Now, if people are looking for the Everyday People and Inspiration of Hope, do they go to E360TV.com?
Yes. They can find both shows there. You go to E360.com. You scroll down to where it says Positive Vibrations, and then just go to the right, and you'll see Everyday People. We do that show only on Fridays, and then Messages of Inspiration and Hope. We do those Monday through Thursday, and they're all there. And then I uploaded the shows to a YouTube channel, Messages of Inspiration and Hope and Everyday People, so that people could actually be able to get their individual YouTube video of them being on TV. Because being on TV, folks, it gives you instant credibility. It really does.
Exactly. What we're on right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Going to the whole Far East. Well, again, so I want to learn more about, because you have a huge music background. You are a music fanatic. You're also a coffee lover. What else do we not know about you that we'd like to share?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm trying to remember all my little stories that I've heard from you, and I can't think of all of them right now in my head. But you just have such an interesting life, and the people that you've met in your world, and the music that you love. Now, where does your music, your love of music, come from? How about
My mother.
Why is that?
Mother always liked to sing around the house, and she was in the gospel music and things of this nature. And being around someone like that to sing in positive songs, and it just bit into me there, and I liked it. And I remember one time when I was a young kid, we were riding to church. I was about 12 or 13 or maybe 14. I was like I tell people, I was a kid in the 50s and an overly intelligent teenager in the 60s. And I remember I asked my mother when we was going to church, I said, Mom, when we go to church and we sing, do we sing because we're happy, or do we sing because we have to?
Oh.
And she looked at me and she says, in your case, you will sing because you have to be happy. And my dad looked at me and said, son, you never learn, will you?
Sing.
Yeah, but that's where it originally started from. And I've always liked music because music was a good escape for me at times in my life. Because when we served in Vietnam in 69 and 70, we would, get away from things. We would turn to music was a big thing for us because it gave us a little hope of the slice of back home, It really did. And I've always just, loved music. And we had Tim Ringo on our show recently, and Tim was talking about how music is such a healing,
It is.
rhythm for us, and because it's in rhythm with our heart, boom, 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 boom. He was doing all that, and I thought, wow, I never thought about that. I just always liked music because I liked it,
Did I not tell you that about my brain injury when I
Yes.
lost the ability to speak and walk?
Mm-hmm.
Singing. I could sing. I couldn't speak, but I could sing that I want some water. I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to say I want water, it would be cylinder.
Yes, yes.
So music is quite healing. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, it really is.
The thing about you and music then is I know you've written songs and you were part of something cool. Please explain. Did that give you
we recorded some music, just out of boredom more than anything else. But
it's cool.
it's, but we really got a kick out of it, and it was fun back in the 80s or back in the mid 80s when we recorded that. That's back when I could sing a little bit, And now when I go out and sing, the cows will leave the barn. So I figure, well, that's not a good sign. But we took over. I took over the group Rick's Oldies on Facebook because the original person that created the group is the 60s, 70s, and 80s. No, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s music. And he asked me to take it over, and I said, sure. So I've got some other admins on there too because that's the music that I like. Because we sing a.
What is it called?
Rick's Oldies.
Rick's Oldies. So RICKS Oldies?
Oldies, OLDIES. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And, because in our generation, we grew up, we sang about love, and we referred to women with the B word. It was always babe or baby.
Mm-hmm.
And it was with love. And that's the way you should,
In love.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's sometimes I just like to get on YouTube or get on Rick's Oldies and, listen to some music on YouTube and post it on there too. And everybody likes it because what's really amazing is that people, come up with songs. The members compose songs there, the people who belong to the group. And you think, wow, I forgot all about that song, so it's kind of neat in that regard, it really is.
That's beautiful. I just met a band out here in Colorado Springs, and they were playing songs I hadn't heard since I was a kid. I mean, they play oldies, but they play covers, and it was just it brought back so much excitement.
Oh yeah.
When they turned into songs and they started playing songs, I'm like, oh, someone else knows this song. It was just so beautiful how music brings us all together. And so when I joined your group, the Rick's Oldies on Facebook group, it was fun because you'll post music every once in a while and do, who remembers this? It's, oh yes, I love it. I love it. Because music brings us together and it brings us back to a place and time that is gone. And
it really does.
We remember that moment. And that's what's
yes.
beautiful about it.
Yeah, because music has the ability to just, when you hear that song, boom, it takes you back to that moment, as you say, and you're there. And it's really unique like that. It's really a great healing property. And I encourage you to, sing your song from your heart. And Rick Ringo, his name is RINGGOLD, Rick Ringo. He says, everybody can sing. He said, we have been taught that, people may not be able to sing as well as others, but he says, you got a song in you. You need to sing it.
Yep.
And I'm going like, wow, I like you already, brother.
I say it often. I'm part of a group called, CB4 Life.
Mm-hmm.
Introduced me to her. We sing like on Friday nights and on Sundays because music heals. And it makes us forget some of the things. So CB4L is Chemo Buddies for Life. And I'm a cancer survivor. So I joined that Jim connected me to. And what's so beautiful about it, I gave a talk the other night about how, someone says, I can't sing, so I'm not going to be part of this. And what I said the same thing is we all are built on music.
Yes.
Our first beat that we learned is our mother's heartbeat. And then we learned her blood flow through her body, that
oh yeah.
Right? So we are built to know rhythm. We are built on music. And so when we are healing, when we're going through any kind of a trauma or sadness or whatever you're going through, and you need to calm down, music brings us to a place that will bring our heart rate down, bring our fears down, all of that, because it's that do, 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 do. It brings us back to basically the womb. And so at some level, we're not hearing the voices of our mothers from inside. We're hearing all that other noise, and we're hearing that when they're talking, the vibration in your body. So we come to that when we need calming, because as the inside of us, that child inside of us recognizes that beat. So when you think you can't sing, or if you think you have no rhythm, oh yeah, you do. Something on the outside has told you you weren't good enough. So you sing like no one's watching. You hum like no one's watching. And if you ever pass me on the street, I am singing at the top of my lungs in my car, because that's what I do. And that's why I got along so well with Jim, because, well, we both have big hearts, but we both love music.
Oh yeah, we both love music and coffee. I tell you, it's amazing. And I tease people. I said, I was, many times I've been requested as a backup singer. They go, "Really, Jim?" I said, "Yeah." They kept telling me, back up. But it's so important to be able to sing your song and sing in the shower and things of that nature, and hum in the shower, do whatever, because it really sets the tone for your day. It gets you in rhythm, because everything is in a rhythm in your body. It really is, because the entire universe is a vibration.
Yeah.
And it's important. It really is.
Now, I have to tell you a not so secret. Once I tell you, it won't be a secret anymore. I'm auditioning for a local band to play the they have like oldies
right
play, and I'm auditioning for their Natalie Cole singer.
Wow, really? Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
congratulations. You got a beautiful voice. You really do.
I can't wait to sing with them.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have you come out and audition. I'm thinking, okay, so I'll be singing with you for now on. So let's figure this out. But it's what I love to do. But I'll let you know when it happens, because then I'll send you a recording of it, because to be playing with a live band, to sing with a live band.
Absolutely. And, anytime you're on stage, when I was an instructor, you can tell when I was a speaker as well, too, you can tell when people are receptive to you, because you feel the energy coming to you. And that just gets you more pumped up. And one thing people do not know about me was that at one time I suffered from glossophobia.
What's that?
That is the fear of public speaking.
Glossophobia?
Glossophobia. Really? That's what it's called. Yeah.
And that's what we do now.
Yeah. And I used to joke around with it a little bit on that stage. And I said, folks, at one time I suffered from that deadly disease, glossophobia. And I'd walk, close to someone, they kind of automatically lean back a little bit, because they're thinking, what's this guy got? A bad case of the heebie-jeebies or what? And I says, glossophobia means the tongue. And I says, it's a fear of public speaking. And that happened to me when I was just in the 4th grade. Oh. I didn't know anything about it, because our teacher just said, we're going to start giving oral book reports, and fear immediately gripped me. And it really robbed me of my life for many years, because I avoided public speaking, big time. I could speak, and give a report in a boardroom or something like that. But as far as standing up in front of a crowd and speaking, I just couldn't do it. And then when I came back off active duty for an Operation Desert Storm, my unit went away, so I had to find another unit. And the only unit that was available that would take me was a bunch of instructors. And I remember the first day, I get up at early in the morning. I got a 100-mile trip ahead of me. So I leave the house about 4 o'clock, because I got to be over there at 7:30 in the morning. And I'm driving and I'm thinking, oh my goodness. I heard the words of my dad, because I heard this a lot growing up. There was 2 phrases he used a lot to me when I was growing up. And one of the phrases was that, son, when did this seem like a good idea to you? And I'm thinking, what did I do? But fortunately for me, and this is a nicety to know if someone out there says, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't talk in front of people. The sweetest thing that I have found, and it works like a magic charm, is that when you get ready to talk, slow down. Take a deep breath and relax. Remember, they don't know what you're going to say. And I don't know what I'm going to say, so that kind of evens the playing field. But pronounce your words phonetically and pause, because that helps calm you down on the inside. Plus, it gives you confidence. Mm-hmm. And it works like a charm. And I thought, wow, I didn't know that. Now, you got to practice at it, sure. But it is the best thing that I have found to overcome my fear of public speaking. Because if someone would have told me at age 72, I'm 72 years of age, that I'd be, doing a radio show 1 hour a week and 5 live 1 hour a week TV shows, I go like, yeah, right. It wasn't anywhere on my radar. But, you've got to be able to tell your story, because your story is very, very important, because your story might be the only story that could reach out and touch someone's life. You think about how you could change someone's life and touch them. I mean, that's a huge responsibility. And that's why, we never retire. You should never retire. You need to keep busy. You need to keep giving everyone, good advice. You need to work with them. You need to help them. Look for ways to help people, because once you do, you can get paid back. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like Zig Ziglar told people for years. He says, you can get anything out of life that you want, as long as you help other good people get what they want. Mm-hmm. And if there's one YouTube video I would encourage you to listen to, that would be Earl Nightingale. Just like it sounds, Nightingale, Nigthinghale, The Strangest Secret. I met him when I was 17 years of age. Now, at that time, I was just too young and too dumb to appreciate him. And I'm being honest. Because at that age, 17 or 18, whatever I was, somewhere in there, I was interested in cars and pretty girls. I had a car, but I still, was interested in a pretty girl, you might say. But that strangest secret will really open up your mind and share great information with you. It's about 34 minutes. Now, Earl does have that deep, gravelly voice, but the information he shares there is timeless. You will be glad you listened to that, because it will help you get focus, get clarity, and it will also help you release being in the physical. Because when we're born on planet Earth here, we're born in a world of survival, need, want. You need to free yourself from that bondage. And you can do that by the heart. Get out of your head and get into your heart, the heart of your soul. Love people and share with them your blessings in life. And it's amazing how all the fences and the doors that open, the fences that get torn down effortlessly. Otherwise, you're going to be pushing a chain uphill the rest of your life. When I owned my manufacturing business, I got up early. I worked late. I worked on weekends. And I was a workaholic. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Even though I did business with big companies from Alcoa to Waste Management, but I became a slave to it. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't happy. You are now. And then when I was able to get out of it, because my son says, Dad, I don't want to do this. He was a smart one. And I would, because you do become a slave to your business when you work that hard, and you're so caught up in the process of it that you're not really living. Yeah. And that's not a good place for you. That's not your calling in life. Your calling in life is not to be a slave. Your calling in life is to share your blessings with others, to be a blessing to others. And that's when you really enjoy the jubilee of what life should be here on planet Earth.
Yes. I actually had, there's two things I wanted to say to add to that. What I've told my clients is that whatever you fear, walk towards it. Because what you fear is because you don't want to ruin it. You want to make it so perfect that you don't want to do it. And so you didn't want to speak because it was your calling. You didn't want to mess it up. And you didn't know until later, but here you are speaking constantly. With me, I avoided the limelight because I was told I talked too much and I needed to shut up. And so I avoided that, thinking that was something I shouldn't do, when actually it's my gift to the world. So, and then I had a guest last week. His name is Dan Stageman. When I met him, he told a story on National Public Radio with me. And I met him and I'm like, wow, you're such a great storyteller. What do you do? And he is, I'm a lawyer. And I went, okay, from that really amazing story I just heard, a lawyer? And he is, yeah, I've been a lawyer for, 30 something years. And it's like, you missed your calling. Well, he said one day, he announced it to his friends, I'm leaving. I'm going to quit. And they're like, you're at the prime of your lawyering. Okay, you've got your practice. You're going to make a ton of money. He said, what's the sense of making a ton of money if I'm going to die?
Yeah.
He says, this stuff is killing me. So he quit sold his practice, moved to Spain, wrote a book, and he writes blogs, and he wrote his book. He is happy as can be, doing polar opposite of what he used to do. His mental shift was, life was worth living. He didn't have to kill himself doing the job he got his degree for.
Absolutely, because I knew a guy that he worked for a company, and he was a vice president of it. He made a lot of money, but he had a lot of responsibility. He too was a workaholic. He'd get up early, work late, work on the weekends, never had time for his wife and kids. And then one day he says, this is it. I'm done. I'm going to walk away from this. I'm going to do something that I want to do with my life. And part of my life is going to be my wife and my kids, because they are my life. Because that's where love is, with your family and your friends. And that's what makes life worth living. No job can ever do that. You ever see a store that says, come in, we'll sell you some happiness? If you do, you might want to stay out of there. It's probably illegal,
Well, if you're in Colorado, then it's legal.
Yeah.
But, that's what happened with me when I told you my story. Was I realized that life was too short to be miserable.
Yes.
And that I needed to find me. I needed to be me. And the me likes to talk and likes to uplift other people. So that's why I do what I do, because I decided I didn't want to die doing what I was doing. Now, we're going to break for our second commercial. But when we come back, Jim, don't leave me. Stay there. When we come back, we'll learn more about Jim and some of his philosophy on life. You are watching Mental Shift, and my name is Michelle Mras. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The TNC shows All of them are live streamed to help you see the new you. And the following times provided will all be in Philippine time. So please stay tuned to hear more about our live streaming shows on TNC. Notable personalities and their stories on The Big Picture, Mondays through Fridays, 7 p.m. Human Resources and Management on HR Hotline, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at noon. The Family Business is Everyone's Business, Saturdays at 4 p.m. Success Stories on The Fourth Project, Saturdays, 6 p.m. Dubai, 10 p.m. Philippines. Beauty Beyond What Your Eyes Can See, Usapang Beauty, Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. Time to hear positive news on COVID stories, Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. Life turnaround stories at U-Turn, Mondays and Thursdays, 10:30 a.m. The Home Buyer guides you to property, Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Laugh and learn with the Poppet Stories, Mondays at 5:30 p.m. TNC Marketplace, Thursdays and Fridays at 10 p.m. Your Rights, Yo Law, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Money and More, Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Philippines, 5:30 a.m. USA. The stage is yours. TNC The Talk, Mondays at noon. Chill and Booze, After Shift, Wednesdays and Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Strategize and win in life through Win Within, Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Dream, Achieve, Nurture, and Inspire, Donnie Art Show, Fridays at 5:30 p.m. Learn Together Across Borders Foreign Affairs, Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. Health is Wealth on Healthline, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Celebrate Women at Work at 9 a.m. Saturdays. Have an awesome day, Mondays at 2:30 p.m. Cybersecurity is Key on CyberNext, Wednesdays at noon. Emerging in Practical Technologies, TechU, Fridays at 2:30 p.m. Learn from the Market Leader, Tuesdays and Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. Well Home brings a well life, Tuesdays and Saturdays at 2:30 p.m. Coping and Coupling, Couple Goals, Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Listen to This Generation on The Millennial Voice, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. The journey continues with Moving On Business, Tuesdays and Fridays at 4 p.m. Catch our original shows One Day, TNC Arena, TNC PressCon, and TNC Town Hall, Saturdays at 7 p.m., co-hosted by TNC founders Lloyd and Apple. Town Hall is where we talk to you, our valued audience. Last but not least, it's never too late for Mental Shift, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. USA, Wednesdays and Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Philippines. Thank you so much for joining me on Mental Shift. For more upcoming shows, follow the hashtag TNCNow on Facebook and YouTube. Allow your passion to inspire you, and together, let us hashtag see the new you. Welcome back. My name is Michelle Mras, and you are watching Mental Shift. If you are watching live, please do us a big favor and share the live stream, or also go to our YouTube channel and subscribe and put the little bell on so you know when we're going live. And please welcome back my guest, Mr. Jim Grant.
Well, thank you so very much. While we were on break there, ladies and gentlemen, I finally figured out what S.C.A.L.E pathway the S.C.A.L.E stands for. It's not an acronym, but you'll see why. I just give everybody the condensed version. It's all about getting clarity on what you want to do and how we can train you to take your individual path so you can scale your business. But S.C.A.L.E pathway, the S stands for the 6-minute webinar technology. The C stands for coaching by S.C.A.L.E experts. The A stands for the Academy courses. The L is for leverage, team, and expertise. E is expansion of your business. So now you know why I just give them the condensed version of it because it's so much simple. Don's the one that came up with that. So, because he's so technical on stuff,
That works. Well, that works. Scale. Yeah. You're scaling your business from all aspects. See, that works.
Mm-hmm. And see, the nice thing about that, I'm the co-founder of it. I didn't even know what S.C.A.L.E stood for, but when something like that happens, own it. So after you see all those words there, you say, okay, I can understand why Jim doesn't, because that's not on my radar up there all the time, because I'm all about, the TV shows, the radio shows, 9 guests. And I tell you, it keeps me busy. It really does.
I bet it does. Now, we're finishing up our 1 hour that we've been together. Remember, like I say, I'm so glad we had this time together.
Me too. Thank you so much.
I would love for you to share one last bit of information in our last minute, and share what have you learned. Give me a sentence that you'd like to share with our audience.
Okay. I'm 72 years of age. One thing I'm asked is, when am I going to retire? And the answer is very simple: the day before I die. And if I get a chance, I'll call and let you know. Otherwise, I'll see you on the other side of the Jordan, because you got to give and give, because life's about giving. Life's about living, and you can't live unless you give. That's the best advice I can give anyone.
I love it. Yes, I love it. Well, because you're 72 years old, for goodness gracious. I mean, you've had a full life. You've done so much. We really should have been talking for 5 hours just about your childhood, through your time in the military. I mean, there's so much we could have learned from you. But what's so cool about it is they can always find you, because when you go to E360TV.com and find Everyday People or Inspiration of Hope, and you will hear little bits of Jim's story throughout while he's interviewing people, because he's got such a plethora of information that when you hear someone talking on his show, he's got little bits that he's experienced too. And that's the other cool thing about him. So thank you everyone for joining us, for joining Jim and I and TNC on Mental Shift. You can catch Mental Shift live streaming every Tuesday and Thursday nights at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time in the United States, or Wednesday and Friday at 10:30 a.m. Philippine time. And until next time, so we'll see you next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on where you are in the world. Join us again, and we have some amazing people. And my husband just says, you're only as old as you act. And yes, Jim is forever young. Have a great night. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Be safe, and we'll see you next week on TNC Mental Shift.